Hi, my name is Athit, Praphatsarang. So my proposal idea for this project is to create a business hub and also a social hub for Nordic area. To do so by embracing the uniqueness of the city and also its strong characteristic in the area to create a better sense of place. By connecting the access for the pedestrian activity and also connect the green space to the inner part of the city center. And also by highlighting local shops, business, and eateries. So after we got back from Aberdeen, I further did some more research and I found one of my inspiration that helped me in my design process, which is in 1855, the Scottish scientist named James Maxwell. He was the first one who invented the color photograph. And by doing so, it's done by analyzing the color spectrum, and the idea of analyzing the color spectrum was inspired me to come up with a design of the spectrum gardens that represent each color in each garden. By moving forward, I'm working on these 3 character notes in 3 different areas with different scales. For the first one is the character notes on Market Street that's showing the buildings and also the harbor, the interaction between that on the Market Street. So the second character note is on the North Esplanade West Street, showing the interaction between the mixed-use building with the color spectrum garden and also the water of the River Dee. And the third one is the replacement of the gas station between the North Esplanade West Street and the South College Street. That's showing the replacement of the gas station by creating the screen activity and the art wall. Moreover, for my concept diagram, I represent each of the objects by different colors of the color spectrum. By the red color is the expansion of the Square Union Shopping Center, which is the car park has been relocated to the inner side of the street and then having the shopping center to be close to the Market Street facing the harbor. Next is the orange, is the mixed-use building which is operate as a residential, hotels or apartment. For the purple represent as the local shop business for the commercial usage. And for the orange is the mixed use of offices and residential. Blue color representing the uses of offices. And then this purple right here representing the new cultural center and the art museum of North Dee. So after I came up with my concept diagram, now I have to put it into details on the master plan by showing more depth by iterating these 2 sides of the riverfront, which is the first one is the North Esplanade West Street on the River Dee River, and also on the harbor side, which is the river and the sea meet. So the 2 movements that I made is that having the color spectrum designated to be the color garden that represent each color from the color spectrum to make it less active for pedestrian to access more. And on the Market Street will be the street that would be more active, so will be the higher traffic. So for this section elevation of Market Street, it shows the interaction between the commercial and residential mixed-use building with the harbor garden and also the harbor docks. So in this area, I decided to increase the sidewalk for pedestrian. As I said, it will become an active pedestrian friendly, and then I have to reduce down the street size so that would reduce the bad air quality, and then that will make pedestrian or visitor and locals that visit to the site of the area will feel comfortable. So for the second section is the section elevation on North Esplanade West Street. This shows the main spectrum garden, which is I wanted to become the new landmark of North Dee area. For the color spectrum garden was inspired by the invention of the color photograph, which each garden will represent each color of the spectrum. And also the interaction between the commercial and residential mixed use, that looking at the River Dee water, which is the interaction between the boardwalk. And for this, will be the less active traffic area. So for my last 4 renderings, I want to show the liveliness of people that interact with the space. Because when I was back in Aberdeen, there were a lot of opportunity to utilize the space better, but then that didn't happen. So for my design, I want to make a space that's for the people and have them interact with each other, as well as the space and also the nature. So for the first rendering, it's on the Harbor Garden on Market Street. This is the interaction between the garden and the sidewalk that make it wider for pedestrians to access, either walk, run, or strolling, or biking. That next to the street that has smaller street size, that less traffic, and also reduce down the speed of the traffic to increase a better air quality. Looking at this storefront of the local shops, business, and also offices. For my second one, is the view from the harbor dock, looking at the Market Street. This is the interaction that we didn't see that happen back in Aberdeen, which is there's really no space for us to interact or look at the chips. There's no garden for people to hang out and gathering. So I think on this one it shows the interaction between the harbor dock and also the street side on Market Street. The next one is the River Dees boardwalk. So I want this to be another landmark along with the Spectrum Garden. So on the River Dees boardwalk, I create this boardwalk so people will interact with the water more. So the interaction between the water and the hardscape and landscape, so that would be sitting area for people to sit out there during the day or at night, but also to make that have the pedestrian or visitor logo to activate the space more comfortably. And the last one is the Spectrum Garden on West Street. So this I want to become the next landmark of the North D area, which is embracing the invention of the Scottish scientists by having this gardens that represent each color spectrum that make the color photograph happen. And in this area is showing the activeness, the liveliness of the visitor logo that going through the space and see the interaction on both streets. So my overall proposal concept idea is to activate these two sides of the waterfront by one being the faster vehicular pedestrian and another one being the slow pause movement of the vehicular pedestrian. Thank you.